Good day and welcome back to the Flying Doctor channel. Exactly 1 year ago, we went on an inaugural flight with Delta from LAX to Brisbane in economy. Today we're going to be doing something similar but in premium select. We'll be on Delta's inaugural flight from LAX to Melbourne, a nearly 16-hour blocked flight. So if you're interested to see what Delta's premium select cabin is like, or you want to see what Delta does to celebrate their inaugural flights, sit back, relax, get ready for another flight review. Shortly after last year's inaugural flight to Brisbane, Delta announced they would begin service to Melbourne in the winter of 2025. Excited to hear this, I started planning right away and booked a ticket shortly thereafter. The flight from Atlanta to Los Angeles was about 4.5 hours and covered a distance of 1,900 miles. That was a quick, easy flight over from Atlanta. We're here at the SkyClub and they've even got some celebratory setup here. I'm gonna hop in the shower, change into something a little bit more appropriate for the inaugural flight, and then we'll go see what sort of festivities there are at the gate. The celebrations at the gate began around 45 minutes prior to scheduled boarding. They had the same Aussie beef pies as last year and an additional sweet treat. Unlike last year's giveaway at the gate of a model aircraft of the LA-28 livery, there's no such giveaways this evening. As the crew had arrived, I recognized a few faces that were on last year's inaugural flight. After performing the ribbon-cutting ceremony in a direction that prevented anyone from seeing what was going on, the gate was open and boarding began soon after. Today we are on November 5, 27, Delta November, one of Delta's A350s configured with a high density of premium seating and of course, sporting the Centennial livery. Tonight and tomorrow and the next morning's journey will take just under 16 hours, covering a distance of 7,900 miles. The flight departs LA on a Wednesday around 9 p.m. and arrives in Melbourne on a Friday around 8 a.m. Alright, welcome on board Delta 11 with non-stop service to Melbourne. We'll go over all the details about the seat once we get airborne. The festivity is a bit different than last year's celebration on the inaugural flight to Brisbane. Seemed a bit more toned down, but all is good. Little gift bags handed out. Well, you'll see. Interesting choice in filler for a flight. Premium select cabin has just situated themselves in, and the lovely flight attendant greeted all of us, handed us a menu for the meals that we'll be partaking in. It's a bit dark out, as you could probably tell, so we'll see what kind of views we do get on departure, but as you know from previous videos departing out of Los Angeles at night, there's not much to see. Just black ocean.
Hello folks, again welcome aboard for the flight deck. We are number 5 for departure. Flight attendants, please break out.
Things to view out the window were a bit of lights off of Ventura in Santa Barbara County, but besides that, the view out the window quickly turned black. Let's take a closer look at where I'm seated. If you've booked a premium select seat with Delta on an ultra long haul route, You'll find a small amenity kit, a bottle of water, over-ear headphones, slippers, a pillow, and a blanket at your seat upon boarding. To me, the pillow is a game changer compared to what you get in economy, and the blanket is minimally thicker. The seat is wide enough so that my shoulders aren't overflowing into the neighbor's seat, legroom is roomy enough for me, and the recline is enough to trick me into thinking I can relax.
There's also an extendable leg rest, which if you're tall, just makes you look like you're sitting in an awkward position. Located in a somewhat troublesome spot is the remote and the adjustable seat buttons. I say troublesome because depending on how much you move throughout the flight, you may potentially hit the flight attendant call button, which I always seem to do. The tray tables eject out of one of the armrests, fold over onto your lap, and can be moved forward or backwards. Inside of the amenity kit, you will find a basic eye mask, a toothbrush with toothpaste, some earplugs, and some Grown Alchemist lip balm. Unlike last year's flight where Vegemite was provided along with the dinner service, the only Australian product offered on board tonight's flight that I'm aware of is the Grown Alchemist lip balm. It was a bit turbulent as we climbed up to our cruising altitude, which slightly delayed the in-flight services. Following a warm, steamy towel to freshen up the face and wherever else you please, a bit of a snack preceded the dinner service. Since we're getting into food, let's take a look at the menu. There are two main entrees to choose from on tonight's flight, the first being a barbecue chicken thigh, and the second being a baked mushroom rigatoni.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally made it to dinner time, and I am really struggling to stay awake here. But I made it, and here's the meal. It's the mushroom something or other. And you may have noticed there's another person joining us on today's flight review, and she was kind enough to share with us her meal. What do you think of the appearance, Miss Callie?
I think it looks good. I'm ready to eat and go to sleep.
All right, she's on the same page I am. We're gonna dig in, clear the plate, and get to bed. Salad was fresh. This main meal, it seems like it was out of the oven for a bit of time because it's not super hot. Well, it's warm. The chicken and the barbecue sauce, on the other hand, that tasted pretty good, must say. But this mushroom pasta dish here isn't bad at all, and I will finish it.
After finishing up the last bit of dinner, I popped my eyes out and got ready for bed.
Alright, well, I'm all ready for bed here, so let's do what we can to get some sleep. Should be able to get a solid 5 hours or so, but we'll see how it goes. Definitely not going to get anything as restful as this person. Just dialed in.
I'm sure it was just a coincidence, but there was a full moon out tonight on the inaugural flight, which definitely made for a bright night outside. As you're probably aware, Delta has been rolling out their in-flight Wi-Fi service for the last year or so. On tonight's flight, we did have Wi-Fi service, but it only lasted until we got to around Hawaii.
Delta has been rolling out some updates to their IFE system, both in terms of available content and the interface. Being in the airline's current flagship aircraft, the most recent updates are present on the seatback entertainment screen. You still can't connect your own Bluetooth headphones to the system, but the screen is a decent size and has good enough resolution. The system is pretty responsive, and I don't have any problem navigating the interface.
If you ever become peckish in the middle of the flight, there are snacks set up in the aft galley. This included some Biscoff and crackers, water, very basic snacks, nothing substantial. Roughly halfway between the actual dinner service and the free arrival meal, there was a snack service offering a Mediterranean pizza twist. I wasn't interested in this, but my wife couldn't resist the midnight snack.
Well, the sun has risen, and there was some very broken sleep. It's been
been, I think, about 12 and a half hours in the air so far, so breakfast should be showing up soon. We have received the incoming passenger form for Australia, which we filled out, and yeah, looking forward to breakfast and getting on the ground. My wife slept much better than me. How did you sleep?
I slept pretty good.
She ended up strapping herself to the seat, immobilizing herself. But yeah, we're trying to reorganize some bags here so that we can get off the plane and stretch the legs and see some sunshine in Victoria. Breakfast has arrived. The row ahead of us was warned that there might not be enough of the frittatas available. So out of the two options, we're in the last row here, and the row in front of us is apparently where the limit is in terms of frittatas on board. I'm going to dig in here to this yogurt, granola, fruit parfait as we just make our way overland on the Australian continent. I found the yogurt and granola to be pretty tasty, and the fresh fruit was, yes, fresh. The egg frittata was also apparently tasty, and looked oddly similar to my dinner.
52 degrees Fahrenheit, about 13 degrees Celsius, light winds, partly cloudy skies. Our system shows us touching down at 30 minutes past the hour, so 7:30 local time. Should be a relatively short taxi to the gate, so we should have you there about 20 minutes early. Just want to say thank you. We're very excited and appreciative for everyone joining us on the inaugural flight into Melbourne. We should have a little welcome committee to meet us at the gate. Now I'd like to ask flight attendants to leave their cabin for arrival. Thank you.
So let's take a closer look at that little gift bag that was handed out while we boarded. Within the nice looking thank you bag is a bunch of paper confetti. I can imagine in parts of the cabin it looked like there was some sort of New Year's party that happened after everyone tore through these bags. Within this thank you bag was a bag tag, a Delta pen, Delta wings, a blue Delta football, which to me made absolutely no sense and took several days to figure out why Delta included a football, and a very generic thank you mint. So why did Delta include a football in this thank you bag? Well, it turns out that next year, 2026, the National Football League will be bringing American football to Melbourne. Now, for someone who doesn't watch football, it took a while for me to connect the dots. And walking through the cabin, listening to other people question why there was a football in the thank you bag, I know I wasn't the only one. I don't recall any mention of football at the gate during the celebrations, and there was no promotional information at the gate or throughout the airports that indicated this was a highlight of tonight's flight. Luckily for us, the view on approach was pretty nice outside. It wasn't super clear, but it wasn't completely overcast. We did get some sunshine breaking through the clouds that did exist, and we had a nice landing.
Good morning and welcome to Melbourne, where the local time is 7:30 a.m. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened and carry-on items stowed until the captain has...
As we taxied over to the gate, I wondered if there would be a water cannon salute because last year in Queensland, the Brisbane airport did not provide Delta with a water cannon salute. As we made our way off the plane to the jet bridge and headed towards customs, I wondered what the festivities would be like after baggage claim and customs, and if they would be similarly covered by news media like last year in Brisbane. While there were some similar faces that greeted us, there didn't appear to be as much of a welcoming ceremony like last year in Brisbane.
We made it. from Brisbane.
I was.
Yeah. You're the inaugural guy.
I am.
Thanks for flying with us.
As we walked from the gate to Border Force, we passed a group of Aboriginal dancers and performers, which made us think that we missed something or they missed us. We did arrive 30 minutes early, but I would think that the airport and those in charge of planning these events would have some sort of buffer zone accounting for early arrivals.
Well, that wraps up the ultra long haul flight with Delta on their inaugural route from LA to Melbourne. It's the second longest flight I've been on. We survived. Callie, how did you feel?
I feel pretty good.
All right, well, we're gonna go explore Melbourne. I encourage you to always find something to enjoy in life, and as always, thanks for watching. See ya.